Andre here at Climbing TV. Today we're counting down the top 10 climbing scenes that Hollywood has to offer the masses. From suspenseful to educational,
all right, kids, watch me.
Comedic to downright outrageous, we compiled the most outstanding Hollywood depictions of rock climbing to date. So tie in and hold on as we count down the top 10 rock climbing scenes in Hollywood. Number 10, McGee and Me, In the Nick of Time. This little-known straight-to-video Christian film is about a teen who faces life challenges with the help of an animated sidekick.
With all the ropes and stuff. I still don't think I'm cut out to hang off the side of mountains.
You gotta give it a chance before you hang up your boots.
Come on, Nick, get your pack.
The scene takes place when the protagonist Nick is volunteered to climb first while out on a team-building trip with his friends and family.
I think I can't.
Okay, everybody, the only way out of here is up and over. So, this is where we're gonna put to the test everything that we've learned.
Terrified of heights and dealing with performance anxiety, Nick struggles to make it up almost halfway before he breaks down. He eventually lets go, gives up, and is let down. We chose this scene because it reminds us of where we all started and where new climbers might be starting. It also reminds us that we can make climbing look a lot easier than it actually is.
Yes, sir. This
scene also introduced us to climbing before any other films on this list, so we thought it'd be appropriate to put it at the number 10 spot. Number 9, The Good Son. Although this movie has nothing to do with rock climbing and everything to do with a child psychopathic murderer played by Macaulay Culkin, who's trying to kill his own mother by pushing her off a seaside cliff. He's then stopped by his cousin played by Elijah Wood. We chose this R-rated scene from this violent thriller because the mother's motivation to make it to the top was so outrageous, yet it still had us at the edge of our seats. While rooting for Elijah Wood's character, we've never been more happy to see someone make an ascent. Dark and twisted, this scene also shows the classic hanging for life trope in a new way, in which the mother decides the fate. The intensity and the outcome of the climb puts this climactic ending at number 9 on our list.
Oh, your grandmother called.
Number 8, Princess Diaries. Another movie that has absolutely nothing to do with climbing, but includes an all too familiar scene where Anne Hathaway's character showed bonding with her mother in a climbing gym.
I think I want to climb a little bit.
The scene also shows the two using climbing as a way to let out some frustration, as well as emphasizing the alternative lifestyle character models. The scene introduced the sport to youthful audiences everywhere, and for that, holds a firm grasp on our list at the number 8 spot.
Aren't we?
Our number 7 movie, Failure to Launch. Another movie again with a non-climbing plot, but we're going for climbing scenes. And this movie contains a gem of a scene where main character Trip, played by Matthew McConaughey, goes out with some buddies to get out of a relationship slump. They're shown sport climbing at a crag while conversing about their issues. Although the scene is meant to be lighthearted and funny when a chuck wallet bites him in the hand, we struggle to watch terrible belaying techniques. Nearly killing his climbing partner, this scene shows exactly how not to belay. And for that, this scene catches the number 7 spot.
I'd be willing to do anything.
Number 6 on our list, Eiger Sanction. It's a classic Eastwood flick about a political endeavor to sanction the Eiger Mountain. Often comical and at times politically incorrect.
That's really my name, Jemima Brown.
Although this film is chock full of 70s offensive camp,
Faggot.
That's cute.
we were able to dig up a pretty decent climbing scene in this mountaineering epic.
Gotta make it. Hey, have you ever met any of these guys we're climbing with?
Yeah, about a month ago.
The scene shows Clint Eastwood's character training for the Eiger Mountain by chimney climbing and rappelling in Utah. We love the wide-angle shots of these scenes and the beauty they offer, as well as some of the most amazing footwork we've ever seen. Especially this scene here where Clint Eastwood is beach whaling. The most epic top-out put to celluloid. There's a little bit of honesty in these climbing scenes, as well as beauty in these aerials and pullaways. But what stole our hearts was a dialogue between Clint and his belay partner when they summit the top of the table.
Stupid. I didn't carry it. You did. It's in your pack.
Jesus Christ, I had to throw you off this pillar. Besides, it's warm.
I'm sorry.
It's a super climber move. And for that we say cheers to the Eiger Sanction for holding down the number 6 spot on our top 10 climbing scenes in Hollywood. The next movie on our list has so many over-the-top mountaineering and ice climbing stunts and scenarios. It's no wonder why the general public might have misconceptions about our sport. But since we're sticking to rock climbing scenes and not so much mountaineering or ice climbing, we're going with the unforgettable and extremely dramatic opening scene in our number 5 pick, Vertical Limit. The opening scene shows the protagonist, played by Chris O'Donnell, climbing with his father and sister. The relaxed and casual conversation between the siblings shows us that they probably grew up around climbing and are experienced enough to make us feel comfortable.
Smart climber always wears a belt and suspenders.
Dad.
2 cams are safe, 3's even better.
Daddy.
Not kidding, Annie. Nobody's going anywhere until you put another cam in the wall.
Tragedy ensues when 2 beginner climbers, climbing ahead of the family, fall off their protection and into the climbers, leaving everyone hanging for dear life by minimal protection. Scene also shows the daughter struggling to set a cam, something any traditional climber might relate to.
Peter, I want you to get your knife.
What?
Just do as I say.
The intensity of the scene increases when the main character is faced with a decision. In order to save him and his sister's life, he must cut the rope, freeing his father. The intensity of this scene and the emphasis on having the skill and knowledge of what to do when climbing on a big wall puts Vertical Limit at number 5 on a top 10 countdown. Our number 4 pick hasn't even been watched yet. We haven't seen the scenes that we chose, but we are very confident that this remake of the 90s classic surfing / heist flick will deliver Hollywood big budget action. Besides just surfing and jumping out of perfectly good airplanes, the remake includes other extreme sports like motocross, wingsuit flying, snowboarding, and yep, you guessed it, rock climbing. We also chose this film because of a featurette that we found about the rock climbing scene. And who did the filmmakers get to perform the climbing scenes?
I think it really is like the perfect location to make some really cool climbing footage. Erickson's really committed to keeping it really authentic. Seeding the film with real live athletes.
After watching the behind-the-scenes featurette, we got super psyched to see the Hollywood Sharma at work. And for that, we're saving the number 4 spot on our countdown. Our number 3 pick Star Trek V and the Final Frontier. This was one of our more philosophical and deeper climbing scene on our list. Directed and written by William Shatner, shot on location in Yosemite National Park, this scene shows Captain Kirk free soloing El Cap.
1,200 points of interest in Yosemite, and you pick me.
I regret to inform you that the record for free...
We especially love this scene for Kirk's conversation with Spock. The Spock questions the logic behind climbing.
Not to mention the most important reason for climbing a mountain.
And that is?
Because it's there.
Captain, I do not think you realize the gravity of your situation.
Although the climbing in this scene isn't the most action-packed or technical, we bumped it up on our list because of a behind-the-scenes interview with Shatner on filming and inspiration and some of the philosophy he found about climbing while doing some research.
Captain Kirk is climbing El Cap. Hands and toes climbing up this granite, seeking energy, strength, and toe and finger holds. I've thought often since I wrote Yosemite, Captain Kirk, free climbing. I thought often, why did I come up with that idea? And I had no idea. I began to understand within the context of the film, let alone in real life, what that climb meant. The climb is not just a climb up the rock, but it's a climb, the aspirations to climb, to reach higher than yourself. Man and this human being, Kirk, representing all of man, climbing higher than himself, aspiring to climb to the top and challenging death and thereby gaining life.
McCoy is...
And the only place he could be was Yosemite.
Irresponsible. Playing games with life. Concentration.
And we treat it in a funny, in a comical fashion. There is great humor in the scene. Climbers from every country in the world come to Yosemite to climb El Cap and the mountains around it because it is one of the great climbing places in the world.
We couldn't have said it better ourselves, Captain. From the interview, it sounds like he understood the lifestyle and wanted anyone who saw his movie to understand the deeper philosophy behind climbing. And for that, this scene holds the number 3 spot. What climbing movie list wouldn't be complete without Sly Stallone and the ever-incomparable blockbuster hit Cliffhanger? We know. This movie is full of inaccuracies, like free soloing with a full rack, harness malfunctions, and shooting bolt guns. But that's what Hollywood brings. The high-end budget brought us some of the most beautiful and technical opening credit shots put to film. The $65 million budget, and very high exposure to a wide audience, making over $85 million in the US alone, this movie brought climbing in Hollywood together at a blockbuster level, introducing the climbing culture to the widest audience of its time. The movie also created one of the first and few climbing-related video games, as well as introducing the hanging casually for dear life trope to audiences at a giant scale. It also reminded us the importance of double backing your harness, with one of the most disturbing and stressful rescue missions gone wrong on our list, also spawning the rumored Black Diamond lawsuit for its depiction of harness failure. And for all of this, we give the outrageous and violent Cliffhanger the number 2 spot on our countdown. Number 1, Mission Impossible 2. Location for this opening scene of the classic CIA espionage action thriller was shot in Dead Horse Point in Utah. Filmmakers respected the integrity of existing climbs and chose a location without any. This shot took just 5 days to film. The stunt choreographers and director acknowledged the fact that the moves are contrived and unrealistic, but add an intensity that normal climbing footage might lack. It achieves the goal of making Ethan Hunt look studly, gives the audience a sense of danger, and provides great vistas for the revealing of the mission. In addition to no hands rests and sideways dynos you might see in a stunt work video, The scene also reinvented the cliffhanger trope by putting Tom in the ever-popular crucifix. Director John Woo wanted to add his signature. The bulk of the footage that appears on screen was shot by helicopter, using a space cam mount. This is especially tricky, where the camera operator and the pilot both create the shot and have to team together to compose. But what put this scene above all others was the fact that the entire scene was Tom Cruise's idea after he had found a gym and bought the rights to Touching the Void. He also did all the climbing without a double, but with the aid of harnesses and wires. The scene also introduced climbing to the largest audience to date, making over 5.4 million worldwide and showing over 3,600 screens opening week. And for that, MI2 tops our list at number 1.